The Federal and Devaki Specialty Hospital jointly present the Madurai Marathon 2024 Run for Health on Sunday, October 20th, 2024. Entry is free for all.
Mudhal VC, it is not like a typical venture capital firm. It's more like an accelerator coupled venture capital firm. Only from the new government that has taken over from 2021, conversations and chatter around startups. Before that, we didn't hear much about startups.
Zerodha, Zoho, your competitor, has been able to do it quite successfully. That's the whole conversation.
Zoho is not a competitor. Zoho is competitor to everybody in the world because they have like 50, 60 products.
Yeah. Hello and welcome. I'm Vijay Srinivas. We are joined by a very special guest, Mr. Suresh Sambandam, who is the Chief Executive Officer and founder of Indian SaaS firm Kissflow. Thanks very much indeed for joining us on the Federal. Great to have you. Let me begin with your recent VC firm, Mudhal VC, right? So with investments spanning from culinary to edtech to influencer marketing as well, you've gotten a sector agnostic approach. Why do you want to be sector agnostic in the first place? And tell me what actually interests you. Before you, what kind of quality that you look out for a startup before you begin investing?
Well, so if you look at Mudhal VC is geo-focused venture capital firm. Like we are focusing primarily on Tamil Nadu. So once you're focusing, Tamil Nadu is not like a very big geography, right? Like in India, there are 30 states roughly. I'm here one of the states. So already our playground is well defined and it's small. And if you further refine it to a sector within Tamil Nadu, then you'll be left with really nothing to work on. So there's not big enough canvas to play with. That is one. The second one is, if you really look at Mudhal VC, it is not like a typical venture capital firm. It is more like an accelerator coupled venture capital firm, very similar to Y Combinator in the US. Okay, if you look at Y Combinator, they don't have any primary sector focus. They do Airbnb, they do everything, pretty much, right? So I think they mostly do tech though, but we also do a little bit non-tech, like food, for example. I don't think they do tech, nor food. So that's the difference fundamentally. And the last thing is, in Mudhal VC, we are idea stage company. Mm-hmm. Like people just have an idea. Sometimes they don't even have a name. Sometimes they funnily say we are like a name stage company, which means we get to name the companies. Like the 10 companies the last week we showcased. Like Bad Boy, of course, we named the company. And then Mamura, we were instrumental in changing the name from River East to Amura. And then Mushroom Mama, of course, we named. Diversity, we named. So we work so early, we get to even influence the names of the company so that they relate to the problem that they are solving. Literally nobody is operating at that level, at that early. So we are like the one-of-the-kind companies in the entire country, I would even say entire world in many ways. So
it's interesting that you want to say that you want to become the Y Combinator of Tamil Nadu. It's quite ambitious as well. When you look at the data of YC's investment, you understand that 30 to 40% of investments are in software and 25 to 30% e-commerce and fintech. Mm-hmm. So are there any particular sector that you actually wanted to prioritize?
So mostly we will do B2B software. Mm-hmm. AI or SaaS or cloud is a technology, but it's B2B software will be one of our focus because I come from that background. So Arvind, for example, he is the managing partner. He comes from food background, food and food related tech. So definitely that will be because one of our partners are having that background, so he will be focusing on that. It's a natural extension for us to concentrate on direct to consumer brands. Okay. Right, so these are like the prime sectors, but there will always be things like, for example, we did trash botics. Mm-hmm. So that's it's not a B2B software, but it's a tech play. It's robotics to segregate trash, essentially for climate. It's called climate tech. It will come under climate tech. So, but that's an interesting problem, and we wanted to do that. So I don't think we have a very strict boundaries. But we will have some priorities. But if we find a startup very interesting in any sector, we will probably do it.
Okay, so how much money are you looking to invest? Any corpus cap that you have in mind?
So we are going to put in like 25 crores in the beginning as phase one. That'll be for next 2 years, and then another 100 crores in phase 2. So totally, in 4 years time frame, we're planning to deploy 125 crores.
Okay. So examining the startup ecosystem, you've also been talking a lot about the macroeconomics on Twitter and all that. You've got a huge fan following out there, right? I mean, considering the startup ecosystem in Tamil Nadu, I mean, Bengaluru continues to dominate the startup world with considering 50% of total funding that's been secured in the last 10 years, followed by Delhi NCR and Mumbai closely behind. Why do you think Chennai hasn't been able to do this, and what should Chennai be doing to fix this?
I think Chennai lost out because only from the new government that has taken over from 2021, we are seeing a huge conversations and chatter around startups. Before that, we didn't hear much about startups. This is not a complaint about any particular political party or anything like that, but as a state, as a government, we did not focus on startups for like 10 years. So we sort of missed from 2010 to 2020, that period, we missed it. And that's what we are seeing. So we missed a very critical period when the product companies were growing, that inflection point was happening, and we didn't focus. And hopefully it'll take double the effort now to catch up, because other states have moved far ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So we are like number 4, number 5 now. So yeah, it is bad, but we can't keep cribbing. We just have to work towards bridging the gap. There is nothing much we can do.
Okay. So in talking about the global venture capital funding, I mean, which has declined 30% according to Bloomberg report. So in the first quarter of 2024, some experts say that the VC party is coming to an end, right? I mean, you've also been running this firm quite successfully called the Kissflow, which is a SaaS firm, and which is Bootstrap. What's your take on this Bootstrap versus VC funding debate?
It's not a very useful debate, honestly. I think what we have to really look at it is some companies are rockets.
Okay.
They need rocket fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Some companies are like steam engines. They don't need the rocket fuel. They just need coal. So if you are building a rocket, then you need rocket fuel. You should definitely raise VC money. So if you're not building a rocket, then there is no point in building a VC company. So for example, Kissflow, until GenAI came, we didn't see it's going to become like $1 billion company because of various challenges that we had. Because the problem that we were solving is not scalable because we're trying to get to business users. But with GenAI, we can easily get to business users because it's NLP based. Now we are trying to raise money. So we don't have a fixed mindset like, we have to be bootstrap, we have to be funded, nothing like that.
Okay.
So we pick the approaches which is correct for the company. Right now we are picking the approach that is correct for the company, which is we're going to try raise venture and then try to grow the company. So there is no reset. There is no preset notion like Bootstrap is the right model,
okay,
or the venture is the right model. It's not.
The whole conversation actually Bootstrap versus VC, idea comes into play because startups are certainly struggling to get out of the, path to profitability. Paytm hasn't been able to do it. Zomato did to a certain extent right now once it came into IPOs. But Zoho, your competitor, has been able to do it quite successfully. That's the whole conversation.
Zoho is not a competitor. Zoho is competitor to everybody in the world because they have like 50-60 products.
Yeah.
So they compete with Google, they compete with Microsoft, they compete with everybody, right? So I don't think Zoho is really can be called as a competitor for us, for example. I think there is a lot of confusion around this path to profitability. Like, if you're growing at like 60% or 70% year on year, and you make like 20% loss, it's still okay. Even now,
okay,
it's not like all companies needs to be profitable. But if you're not growing 60% and you're making, let's say you're going 20% and you're making 20% loss, that means 20 minus 20 is 0. So the growth minus your loss, if it is more than 40, like for example, you would grow 60% and you're making loss 20%. So 60 minus 20 is 40. You're okay. So that is what investors are looking at. I don't think people in the media really understand the nuance. They're simply covering headlines like path to profitability, those kind of stuff, because they don't understand the depth of what people are really looking for. People are really looking for rule of 40 companies. It's called the rule of 40. Okay. So any company, let's say for example, we're growing 100%, I can make 40% loss. Or even make 60% loss. Right? It's fine. If you're doubling every year, there are a lot of companies who got funded recently who are doubling every year and they're making huge losses. That's not a problem. But if you're not growing, if you're stagnating at 20%, 30%, people want another 20% as profits. So 20 plus 20, you cannot be minus 20 then. So 20 plus 20 will again give you 40. So the idea is to get to 40. So that's the crux.
Okay, so when we are here, the CTO Summit, and there's a lot of talks that's kind of going around AI, right? So, I mean, we also continue to hear about digital solutions, AI-powered digital solutions, so on in the SaaS world. Tell me, like, how is AI enhancing these SaaS products?
There is a big threat for SaaS products, I should say.
Okay.
Because SaaS products or most SaaS products are glorified data entry applications, including CRM, like Salesforce. What do you do in Salesforce, really? Just think about it. There are screen, and you enter data, right?
Okay.
And then analyze and do some reports. That's like 80% of Salesforce. So that is getting challenged because AI can easily do that better, right? So there is a big challenge. So it's not like AI can just incrementally you add AI to an existing SaaS product. It's not going to work. Somebody is going to fundamentally redefine that SaaS product. So that's what is going to work.
Yeah.
So if you're a SaaS company, if you're not redefining your product fundamentally, you're in trouble.
Okay, so you mean is Tamil Nadu should be bracing for a lot of layoffs because there's a huge chunk of engineering graduates who get into the SaaS business here?
Yes, there is going to be a challenge. I don't know whether it will result in layoff. It's going to take some time. It may not happen like next year. It may take like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and it will happen slowly. It won't happen like one shot, everybody will be gone. No. Like suddenly some company will come and then they will come up with a new way of doing, let's say, help desk software or something else, or CRM software. Then the existing customers, they will have existing software, right? They won't just simply switch.
That's good.
They will slowly change. So 110 customers will go 50 customers, 15 customers, slowly. So it will take some time for the companies to come down. So there will be enough time for people to think about it. But the problem is not for the job employees. The problem is for the actual founders and investors who put money in the company, right? Because employees will always get some other job.
I read your Forbes interview this morning where you mentioned plans of reaching $100 million in revenue within the next 2 to 3 years, right? Given that currently you have 1,500 paying customers, a substantial number coming in via your, free legacy-free plan. So, and how close are you to this target? And what are the strategies you're implementing to build your revenue streams?
We are trying to use Gen AI to get it faster. Gen AI is what we are betting on. How Gen AI can help us accelerate and get to that 100 million faster, like in the 2 to 3 year time frame. That much only I can tell right now. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Great talking to you.
Thank you. Nice. Good.